Yeah, I know. No stream today. Why no stream today? Oh, well, because I'm still sick. What do you want from me? People always make fun of me in the comments. Oh, he's still sick? Yeah, well, what do you it's live streaming, okay? It wilts you, all right? If anything, it makes me heroic. You don't see people whining about Victor from Arcane, right? With the hex magic. I don't know what it's called. I haven't seen. I saw Arcane season 1, but that was a while ago. I haven't seen Arcane season 2. I'm sorry, I'm not caught up in it. All I know is that Victor, he's the twink and he gets like sick and people go, "Oh, they love that." You know? They don't show Victor needing to take a dump 8 times a day because his body's running every calorie he gets through the blender and right out in 30 minutes, you know? If you're wondering why, by the way, why am I sick? Well, I don't know. We have a reasonable suspicion, though. Normally I make my morning coffee, and I make it pretty quick. I've got stuff to do. I'm a busy guy. Someone else made the coffee for me the other day, you know, noted that, well, the half and half was we'll say, not in the best state. It wasn't in the best condition. I wouldn't say it had not passed its expiry date, but I would say that if you gave it quite literally the sniff test, you would say that it should have. You know, like the expiry date was perhaps a little bit overly optimistic. So we live, we laugh, we learn. We live, love, laugh. The Shooter's Manifesto. Took a little while for it to get out. Obviously, anytime there's a massive high-profile event like this, there's fakes, forgeries that run about online. Ken Klippenstein put out the real business. I typed / not knowing, evidently, that Substack just pops this up when you do so. I'm not searching anything Substack. I just want to look at the article, you know? And this guy's handsome mug. For some reason, it took a while for the real manifesto to get published. We have independent journalism to thank for that. Ken, usually I'd say, is pretty damn on the ball when it comes to getting this info out quickly. He says it right here. Major media outlets are also in possession of the document, but have refused to publish it and not even articulated a reason why. I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of really suspicious factoids. I don't like to give in to suspicion normally when it comes to stuff like this, because if you take a look at everything in a holistic sense, I think you'll find that basically every major event where a bunch of people are involved in giving their takes on things or disclosing or holding information, there's usually a lot of confusion, a lot of like second guessing that you know, some information gets lost in the weeds. Basically, fuel for conspiracists is created purely by virtue of a lot of people being involved in the discovery process, essentially. I mean, this is kind of like the conspiracism that fuels, say, people who think the moon landing was faked, which is, or if you know, there's so much information out there about the moon landing that if you take certain facts and you line them up in the right or maybe wrong way, you can create circumstances that look suspicious. And if you get sat down and given a full account, it all makes sense. But we can't be sat down and given a full account of this because it just happened like a week ago, you know? There's no history book to defer to. I will say, some of this stuff has been giving me a little bit of feelings, I'll say that much. The conciseness, I guess, of the manifesto, which, I mean, you probably already read the whole thing while I'm rambling on about all the metadata around it. The way in which Luigi got arrested, like spotted at a McDonald's, you know, because of a picture, and apparently he had his ID out in the McDonald's, and there are photos of him prior to the arrest in the McDonald's, both with the mask on and the mask off. And I saw an article saying maybe the person who identified him for a technicality won't be able to claim the $60,000 bounty on his head, which makes me think that maybe there was no guy who spotted him, and this is the government using illegal surveillance technology that it's had access to for decades, but they can't admit that they're using it. The FBI's involvement, you know, like, it led to his tracking down because they have the ability to access basically all the data that runs through the internet, so they were able to access, like, security camera footage and surveillance TV without a warrant, and they don't want to admit that, so they're trying to, like, work out a path backwards. And I saw a CNN post saying they got his fingerprints from the scene, but he was wearing gloves in the scene. I don't know. Like I said, like, this is probably one of those things where if you look at it like 2 months down the line, it all makes sense. But I still don't think Epstein. I still don't think that Epstein took his own life under, like, completely coincidental circumstances. You know, we'll say that much. Whatever. I'll read the damn thing. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. So it is a fake. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the US is the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is the indecipherable largest company in the US by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy, or I suppose as our life expectancy, is a subject of the Queen. As our life expectancy. No, the reality is these indecipherable have simply gotten too powerful because they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have the space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal, Moore, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. It's a weirdly concise manifesto. Manifestos are documents kind of like known for being lengthy. And he got arrested with all this on him, cash IDs, fake IDs, the manifesto, da-da-da. Look, again, normally I'm hesitant to be conspiratorial about stuff like this, but look, do I think they got the wrong guy? Do I think that this guy isn't the shooter? I think they got the right guy. If they were going to pin it on someone, why pin it on like a wealthy, like basically like American aristocracy wealthy? I mean, like this is a pretty well-to-do family, like tech bro. It's kind of odd, right? I mean, you'd think you'd pin it on like go down in Midtown Manhattan, find the nearest homeless guy, like bundle it in trash bags, you know, we found him, drop the plant evidence on him, drop the gun, drop the silencer, drop a manifesto that's been pre-written at you know, the bureau. Why this guy, right? As for the circumstances of his arrest, well, his lawyer says there's no actual evidence pinning him to the crime scene, but that's like, obviously a defense attorney would say that. That's kind of their job. They want to prompt the evidence finding. I am curious how things go to trial. Listen, here's my threshold, okay? I'm maintaining like a light level of conspiracism right now, which will be amplified to full-blown, like Epstein didn't kill himself level conspiracism if something happens to Luigi. Like if he gets got, or like he commits suicide in prison or something, then I'll be annoying about this for the rest of my life. You know, I'll be telling my grandchildren, like, everyone sit down around the, you know, the burning oil drum that we use for heat in the nuclear winter. And I'll tell you the story of how an extraordinarily handsome tech bro didn't do anything. Apparently, he's struggled with back pain. There are, and I believe this is confirmed, images. He's had a surgeries, I think implants, the base of his spine. Chronic back pain is one of those. Unfortunately, I think this is one of those problems that medicine basically hasn't solved. The spinal column basically like holds you together. It's literally like the standing post of your entire body. You know, the nerves run through it. That's why if you take a hit to the spine, you get paralyzed like below that point. That's kind of like the, it's kind of, to use a term that you internet people would be more familiar with, to draw an analogy that you're comfortable with, you know, it's like the line of cables running out the back of your PC that you've bundled together. It runs down the spine, okay? You know, that's where it all is. So if pain happens there, it's pretty difficult to rectify. I don't think that surgeries for back pain typically result in very positive outcomes. It's just difficult. It's very difficult. So maybe he's had a bunch of personal negative experiences with the healthcare system that radicalized him. I can't really speak to this. This is kind of a nothing manifesto, right? Like, you would think, okay, so he's a tech bro, right? And you would, I mean, he's done like bug fixing in Civ 6, okay? That's pretty up there. So he's a tech bro. So he wants to give like a logical manifesto. I get it. You know, everyone reads the manifestos and they think, well, this is like crazy. If I did something wacky, my manifesto would be much more compelling. I would create, like everyone thinks like, okay, well, this manifesto looks crazy. But if for some reason I had to write a manifesto, I would write one so compelling, it would get leaked online and people would go, oh my God, this guy had a point. Everyone thinks that. Problem is, by the time you've written the manifesto, you're usually crazy enough to have a poor estimate of what people will find convincing. This guy, I mean, he writes this down. What is this? This isn't anything. Really? So it's like a quote from a Bernie's speech we've all heard. A reminder, the United States has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world. Yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. Like, it's just, we've heard it all before. It's surprising to me. You're not going to write anything more compelling? No, like, not like a gripping personal tale, not like a massive list of your, of like the salaries of the people that you had in mind. You said, here, where is it? Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. It's the only, like, evocative language in the entire manifesto. It feels kind of out of place, doesn't it? Like, I do apologize for any strife or trauma, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the United States has... You get what I'm saying, right? It feels like it's kind of out of place. I don't know. Is it ghost written? I don't know. I don't know. I always... It's always... Anytime something like this happens, that photo of him in the cell where he's just like stanced up, staring at the camera, I don't know. Weird. Also, parasites? Did he have multiple people on his hit list? Like, was it just one target? Why multiple? If it's multiple, why not, like, list out their crimes? You went after Brian Thompson, the guy who, you know, presided over the implementation of an artificial intelligence algorithm designed to reject claims and absolve the company of culpability. You know, by having AI do it, you don't have, like, direct culpability for which agent at the health insurance company, you know, denied your claim. It kind of, like, obscures paperwork. It makes it harder. That's the goal in the case of, like, it's like you know, giving returns or rebates, right? Like, buy item for $100, get $50 mail-in rebate. Like, if you mail in a such and such afterwards, we give you $50 back. Why not just make the item $50? Well, a lot of people just aren't going to go through with the rebate. Inconvenience does actually hamper a lot of people. And it ain't just inconvenience either. Like, you know, you can get dead-ended. I can't even imagine filing a healthcare claim and having an AI reject it. Where do you even begin? It's sick. But he doesn't talk about that. He must have been targeting Brian Thompson specifically, otherwise he wouldn't have been out there at Midtown Manhattan at whatever the AM, you know. That was very obviously a targeted hit. But he doesn't mention Brian Thompson. He just says these parasites. I don't know. I don't like feeding into the conspiracy stuff for the most part. It's just, it's impossible for me to deny the feelings that I'm having here, I suppose. So I mean, what are you going to do? Hopefully more information comes to light, you know, in the subsequent trial, unless he kills himself, in which case I'm going to be annoying forever. That's all I can say. Handsome guy. I might be the first one to say this.